The Carl Gustaf damaged many Russian armored vehicles in Ukraine. Welcome to this channel. If you want to learn more about it, this channel is the ideal place to go. Carl Gustaf damaged many Russian armored vehicles in Ukraine. Watch this video and learn more about Carl Gustaf. We try to make our videos valuable and educational. For information sources, subscribe to this channel. Carl Gustaf damaged many Russian armored vehicles in Ukraine. The Russian Ministry of Defense has released a statement claiming that the recently supplied country's forces have damaged Carl Gustaf's recoilless rifles in Ukraine. The ministry will release a video that shows Ukrainian forces shooting at a convoy of Russian armored vehicles with a new weapon. Because of the fire from the Carl Gustaf rifles, the armor of 10 out of 40 vehicles was damaged, the statement said. The Carl Gustaf is a shoulder-fired, recoilless rifle that militaries worldwide have used it for over 60 years. It can engage targets at extended ranges with high accuracy and reliability. Let's also talk about it. How Carl Gustaf is changing the modern battlefield. Since the early 1970s, the Carl Gustaf M4 has been a shoulder-fired, recoilless weapon system. They have deployed it in over 90 countries and now is in use by 24 NATO nations. Saab created the Carl Gustaf M4 in response to changing combat conditions. It is lighter, quicker, and easier to use than the original. The Carl Gustaf M4 is a modular weapon system that can be adapted to any mission. It can engage targets at long range or in close quarters. The United States Army and Marine Corps have adopted the Carl Gustaf M4. The Carl Gustaf M4 is a recoilless weapon fired from the arm. They made it up of three main components: the launcher, the projectile, and the propelling charge. The launcher is a reusable steel tube that houses the shot and the propelling amount. The missile is a large rifle bullet with a small rocket motor. The propelling charge is an explosive cartridge that launches the projectile from the launcher. The Carl Gustaf M4 can engage targets at long range or in close quarters. It can mount the launcher on a tripod for stability, or it can be handheld. The projectile has a maximum capacity of 3,700 meters, and it can penetrate over 550 millimeters of armor. Let's look into this in conversation. Many militaries around the world use it. Using social media in militaries around the world is growing. It has become an essential tool for militaries to communicate and engage with the public. Social media has been used to share information about military operations, build relationships with the public, and recruit soldiers. Some militaries have even created social media accounts specifically to engage with the public. The Israel Defense Forces. The defense attaches are also responsible for engaging with the public through social media. Sometimes this may include interacting with civilians in foreign countries who have a connection to the military or defense industry. The Department of Defense DoD employs attaches to serve as the primary liaison between the DoD and foreign governments and military organizations. The Defense Attaché System is a worldwide network of DoD personnel assigned to diplomatic missions called Defense Attaché Offices, DAOS, to provide defense and security-related advice and support to the U.S. Ambassador and country team. We should have a video out as well. The Russian military has been using the Carl Gustaf in Ukraine. The registered Dragunov has used the Carl Gustaf recoilless rifle as a 7.62 x 54 mmR rifle with a 10-round detachable box magazine. It has a maximum range of 1,000 meters. The Dragunov sniper rifle proved to be an extremely accurate and reliable weapon and subsequently sought extensive service with the Soviet Army and other Warsaw Pact nations during the Cold War. The Dragunov also found its way into the hands of many third world countries and terrorist organizations. Today, it remains in service with several armies worldwide, according to reports from Jane's Defense Weekly, Man, the Military in Ukraine. The 84mm recoilless rifle is a lightweight man-portable weapon that can be used against tanks, armored vehicles, and other targets. The Carl Gustaf has been used by the Russian military in Ukraine for several years and has been essentially used in the fighting there. The weapon is shown to be quite effective against urban targets. We should talk about it. The weapon has caused significant damage to Russian armored vehicles. The war in Syria has strengthened the position of third-generation reconnaissance satellites in orbit, prompting a debate about the future of space deterrence. A critical factor in any discussion of the future of space is the affordability of operations. Launching a satellite into space is now relatively low, between $2,000 and $3,000, depending on the size of the satellite and the rate at which you pay for its fuel. By some estimates, the cost of taking over 1 acre of land to plant a forest would be $1.2 million. That fact, combined with other factors, means that the future of space is not only highly optimistic, but also highly uncertain. SpaceIL, an Israeli firm that developed the first commercial space launcher, is now offering a dollar contract for someone to take a ride on its first test flight. The contract has drawn criticism from other firms, with some wondering whether the low price will mean a common safety standard. Space IL launches dozens of small satellites into space at a time. The company founder and CEO Guy S. 80,000 square foot greenhouse complex in Jerusalem uses natural light and provides year-round growing conditions for rare species of plants. The company also has an office in Herzliya, developing a second plant. With its greenhouses and a stock of plants that it has grown from seeds, Space IL is well positioned to mass-produce plants for sale to other firms. The company has patented a method of growing plants at altitudes to reduce costs. Now come on, let's discuss about this. The Carl Gustaf is a recoilless rifle that has been in use since the 1950s. The Carl Gustaf is a Swedish-made recoilless rifle that has been in use since the 1950s. It is a lightweight weapon that a single soldier can easily carry and operate. The Carl Gustaf can fire various rounds, including high-explosive anti-tank and smoke rounds. Militaries around the world have used the Carl Gustaf for over 60 years. It has seen action in conflicts such as the war in Vietnam, the Gulf War, and the Iraq War. The British Armed Forces have used the Carl Gustaf in Afghanistan and Iraq in recent years. The armed forces of Sweden, Finland, Norway, Australia, Canada, and New Zealand have also used it. In 1948, Bofors Dynamics by Saab Dynamics in Sweden encouraged the Carl Gustaf, an 84mm recoilless rifle. It was first utilized by the Swedish Army in 1954. The M1 was the main model, with the M2 1956, M3 1968, M4 1988, and M4A1 following 1999. The Carl Gustaf is a man-portable weapon that can be shoulder-fired or hip-fired. It is reloaded by inserting a huge grenade into the muzzle and then retracting the cocked firing pin assembly. I ignited the grenade when the trigger was pulled, and they projected fragments of steel at high velocity to destroy the targets such as armored vehicles or bunkers. The weapon's versatility arises from its ability to use a wide range of ammunition, including high-explosive HE, anti-tank, anti-aircraft, and smoke rounds. The launcher can also fire illumination rounds to light up an area or mark a target for an airstrike. They fit the weapon with a reflex sight, which gives the user the ability to fire on the move. The M32 multi-mission launcher is a man-portable shoulder-fired grenade launcher that can engage various targets such as enemy combatants, armed vehicles, and artillery. The weapon can fire illumination rounds, light up an area, or mark a target for an airstrike. The launcher features a reflex sight, which allows the user to fire on the move. Let's have a chat about it as well. The future of Carl Gustaf. The Carl Gustaf has served for nearly 60 years and is utilized by forces all around the world. It was first released in 1948 and has had so many improvements and adjustments since then. In the recent years, there have been requests to retire the Carl Gustaf and replace it with a more modern armament system. The Swedish Armed Forces have been testing several new weapon systems in recent years, and I expect them to decide on the future of Carl Gustaf in 2020. The new designs being tested include the HK-416A5 assault rifle and the CV-1935 infantry fighting. The HK-416A5 is the latest variation of the Heckler & Koch HK-416 assault rifle designed for military and law enforcement users. It is a 16 inches barrel carbine with an overall length of 36.8 inches, weighing 7.2 pounds unloaded. The HK-416A5 is chambered for the 5.56 x 45mm NATO round and has a rate of fire of 700 rounds per minute. The CV-1935 infantry fighting vehicle is an 8-wheeled armored vehicle that weighs 35 tons and is equipped with a 105mm cannon and a turret-mounted machine gun. It has a top speed of 70 km per hour and can transport up to 10 soldiers. In 1997, the Norwegian Ministry of Defense placed an order for 160 vehicles, with deliveries beginning in 2001. The military of Sweden and Finland also used the CV-1935. Let's discuss this. Like, share, and subscribe now.